Welcome back to Fullerton College's pre-press class. This is Professor Ben Hewitt, and we're taking a look at part 2 of my lecture series on PIA's pre-press training manual handbook, section 4.3, digital image basics. I can talk, I swear. Anyways, we were looking at the concept of duotones, tritones, and quadtones. Anyways, duotone is a way of getting a little bit more depth out of a single channel by assigning 2 colors of ink to that channel. And adding those 2 colors means you're going to have a much wider dynamic range, both in terms of maximum density and in terms of intermediate density changes, because you're using 2 different colors of ink to affect those changes. Normally you use black and a Pantone color, and one of the most common ones is sepia, for a good sepia tone image that you printed. These were popular things to be done, and less so now, because before the ultimate takeover of everybody printing full color or 4-color all the time on presses to do full color imagery, this was a way of getting more color into a publication and or just better black and white images using only a 1 or 2 color press with 1 or 2 passes to be able to get a little bit more interestingness onto your page. When we've reached the point finally where 4-color presses are the standard and all clients basically expect full color printing at all times, this has become a less popular specialty item that's still used for artistic purposes. So in order to do this, I'll show you 2 in a moment here. You go into Photoshop and you open up the duotone dialog box by converting your color space to duotone. Just a moment, let's hop over there. Here we are in Photoshop, taking a look at, again, one of my favorite airplanes. My birthday's in September. If anybody knows a way of getting a good Spitfire for a good price. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to take a look at changing this over to a duotone image. First, if you look at the bottom right, if I click on channels here, you can see that in RGB channels, or in RGB mode, which the image starts out as, there's red, green, and blue channels. And each one of these is a black and white image of how much of that color light is visible in the photo. RGB shows all of them. As we just talked about, duotone is a single channel. So let's go ahead and convert this. Oh, you can't. I'm actually not surprised. That's more of an explanation. You have to go grayscale before you can go duotone, because duotone is a single channel and RGB is 3 channels. So let's go ahead and convert to grayscale. It'll say, oh no, and I will say yes. There we go. Now it's a grayscale image of a spit. And we're going to go up here, go image mode duotone. This is one that's my the last one I used. Ink 1 can be any color you want. Ink 2, I use a Pantone color. And I actually have a Pantone color library from the book selected here. It could be done using other things, but we'll stay where we are on it. You can add a darker brown or a lighter beige, and whatever color you pick, we can go to green if we want. Whatever color we pick, we're going to use both those colors of ink to produce. Let me go, whoops, scrolling the wrong scroll wheel here. Sorry, guys. Let's choose a green. So there's a green tone, duotone. You can also create what's called a tritone or a quadtone. A tritone gives you a 3rd color of ink. You can go back to color libraries there, and it can be anything we want. It can be red, and if green and red, it's going to be more brown again. It could be a 2nd version of a similar green. The image will get more green, or it's just 2 different tones of green being used. You can see, hopefully, as we do this, that the gray levels, the dark areas on this, are getting much, much darker. And we can add another one. Quad tone. Oh my gosh. Let's add another one. Color libraries. Greens. Oh, so dark. You can get such darkness by doing this. You're starting to see some JPEG issues. Anyways, if I undo, you can see we lost a lot of details of that by making the dark so dark. Another interesting note here that I have to demonstrate on this side so you can see, a tritone or a quad tone cannot be used to make color separations. You might be thinking 4 colors of ink, well, why don't I just assign that to CMYK and see what I get? I can tell you what you're going to get, but I'd rather show you and then explain why. Let's go here. Duotone, quadtone, black is fine, cancel. Ink number 2, we're going to go ahead and take this back to the color picker, and we're going to go to 0, 100, 100% magenta, 0, 0, 0. Color 2 is magenta. Color 3, you guessed it. Oops, I should have done my cyan actually. We're going to do this in the wrong order. C, I did because black was the first channel. I got mixed up. 0, 0, 0. Cyan, and you guessed it, yellow is the last one to be used. 0, 0, 100, 0. So here is a CMYK quad tone. It is not the same as a color image made by CMYK because remember, a duotone, tritone, or quad tone is using a single channel of color. It is just making a darker, richer grayscale. It starts with grayscale. And if you're starting with grayscale, there's no way a computer can automatically interpolate what color something should be based off of only grayscale information and no other information. So all it can do is make a richer grayscale. And this is actually a pretty good dark quad tone, think about it, because CM and Y should equal K. You're basically getting double the black. You're getting a deeper, richer, more full black for your black and white. It will cause other issues with output that I cannot demonstrate in Photoshop because it really only happens on paper. But anyways, that's why you can't actually do that. Sorry to burst your bubbles. And we're back to our slide. So that's the duotone, tritone, and quadtone. Tritone and quadtone just means you're using 3 or 4 colors of ink to create that grayscale plus image rather than 2. Interesting side note, tritone to me is also a musical term, which is a certain particular chord of music, which is not always considered to be beautiful. Some people really don't like them. And it's also the name of an a cappella band that I was not a part of. I don't sing, really. That was at my college because we were the Tritons. That was our mascot. Go Tritons, woohoo! And the Tritones was a play on that, and they were an a cappella group. Anyways, anytime I hear tritone, even though I know we're talking printing now, I immediately go musical, and I think about that pretty darn good a cappella group. Really, if you could go back in time with me and hear their rendition of Tenacious D's tribute, it's perfection. Okay, moving on. So that's a duotone. RGB images, red, green, blue. This one maps the exact sensors in your eyes. Remember those cones? Each nerve in your eyeball, in your retina, accepts, I guess doesn't accept isn't the right word, is sensitive to either red, green, or blue light wavelengths. So an RGB image is tickling those exact receptors in your eyes to make it say, oh yeah, I remember these colors. Anyways, and this sort of thing happens normally through digital photography and digital scanning, which is basically just a fixed mounted digital camera. In Photoshop, which we kind of saw before I swapped to duotone there, RGB has 3 channels, one for red, one for green, one for blue. You can see here, and I think I showed you back on the Photoshop jump in we did for duotones, each one of those channels is essentially a grayscale image. So an RGB image is in fact 3 grayscale images. You just assign different colors to those grayscale images. The one for red, where it's dark, there is less red. Where it's bright, there is more red. The one for green, when it's dark, there's less green. When it's bright, there's more green. And for blue, when it's bright, there's a lot of blue. When it's dark, there's not a lot of blue. And you lay those on top of each other with the proper colors assigned to them, and to your eyeballs, you're tricked into seeing all these colors. Remember, you're not actually seeing them. Remember that when you, just like the video we saw about this is not yellow, when you think you're seeing yellow, even when you see yellow in nature, if you're looking at yellow dandelion flowers, as I currently am in my lawn that needs mowing, sure, it's actually yellow and wavelengths of light that can be measured scientifically and say, yeah, that's what yellow is, are happening. I'm still not seeing it. To my eyes, I'm getting equal amounts of green and red light, and that's roughly what yellow does as well, so it must be yellow. On your computer, if you're seeing yellow, you're seeing only the red and green light that triggers a sensation in you saying, yep, that's yellow, even though no yellow light is actually present at all. CMYK, I'm just kidding, CMYK images, 4-color printing, known as 4-color separation, known as process color, known as printing color. It's got a lot of aliases, guys. This could go on all day. So this uses a full, F-U-L-L, color image using 4 F-O-U-R colors of ink. There's a bit of an asterisk after full. It approximates full color printing, but it is not actually full color printing. If you want to print in color, this is the way you must do it, unless you have unbelievably expensive software currently available through GMG, which can do this using Pantone colors you select as your primaries, giving you the best possible approximations based off of them. Or unless you are using some other advanced pre-press software through HP to be used on the Indigo, which can print with a hexachrome or 6-color primary, as opposed to a 4-color primary. Those extra colors are typically green and violet. Sometimes it's 7-color printing, where it's orange, green, and violet. And those extra colors help you hit parts of the printing gamut that are otherwise hard to get. I have gotten so far ahead of myself, it's not even funny. If you want to forget what I said from hexachrome on, go ahead and forget it. We'll talk about it another time. In Photoshop, there are 4 channels for CMYK, one for cyan, one for magenta, one for yellow, one for black. But because this is subtractive color, dark means more ink, as opposed to dark meaning less light. Indexed color. This one is weird. And this one is why I gave you The Princess Bride to watch for a moment there. Spoilers if you've not seen the movie before. If you haven't, go enjoy yourself a watch. It's one of the most joyful things I've ever seen. Just simply wonderful. Anyways, index color, I had an ROUS moment with myself, where I was pretty sure that indexed color no longer existed. I was pretty sure it was kaput, and it had gone the way of the dodos and the dinosaurs. Until one day I was trying to Photoshop an image, and the colors weren't working out right, so I looked at it more closely. Hold on a second. Teddy! Sorry about that. My dog was barking at something. He's a good boy. He just gets excited / bored. So anyways, index color space. Let's talk about what it means. It does sometimes show up. You think they're all gone, but they do still exist, especially on older internet sites. And also for animated GIFs. That's right, I said GIF with a G. It stands for the GNU image, the graphic image format, not the graphic image format. Now you know which side of the debate I'm on. I'm not supposed to get political as a teacher, but there it is. You now know where I stand in my politics. It's pronounced GIF. And worse than that, it's okay to put pineapple on a pizza. Hawaiian is tasty. Now you've lost all your respect for me. Let's move on. So, also the PICT format developed by Apple can be done in index or RGB. So, index uses 256 total colors. So instead of having multiple channels, you have one channel. And a single channel typically has 8 bits of information, which allows 256 shades of whatever you're going to use. When you convert from RGB to index color, you're going to be able to choose how to choose it or what colors to use. You can choose local colors, which is the best choice if you have to do this. Local colors will pick those 256 based off the colors that are already present in the image. Which is kind of like saying, if I'm going to build a Lego model of something and I have a choice of only so many colors of Lego bricks, why don't I just use all the right color Lego bricks for what I'm doing? So if I'm building, I don't know, if I'm doing the Empire State Building and I only have a few colors for Lego bricks, I better choose beige gray for the main bricks and a few other colors like silver for the metal flourishes in the building. Or if I'm doing a Lego Golden Gate Bridge, I better make sure that I'm using shades of red and orange to make it, as opposed to a standard pile of red, yellow, blue, black, and white standard Lego bricks. I'm going to have to stop in the middle of index and come back to it in a minute because I'm just about out of time.